Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joy LaChere, and you're watching Matured Musicians. Our guest today is Joshua Uttech. I'm
You,
sorry,
you.
Uttech. I'm giving you a new name, and he's
That's
going
okay. It happens a lot. Even
he's
people
going
that know my name, even people that know my name, somehow screw it up sometimes, and
oh
that's okay.
no.
That's okay.
Anyway, I can always say it's because I'm old and have Alzheimer's, but anyway, just I do want to introduce more about Joshua when I'm through. I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Kristen. He is doing other people's music and making CDs. Great producer. He's mine. And you can find him at Luscious Moss Studio or Chad Chris. Both of them are on Facebook. He's out of Edgewood, Washington. And he does have very creative and collaborative environment. And I can attest to that. So if you have any needs as far as production, etc., then making recordings, that's the place to go. All right. So I understand. I had you before on the show, Joshua,
hmm
and I think you contacted me and you said that you had some new music coming out. Was that correct?
Yeah, I had a new song that came out. Well, it's a cover song, but it's my
Oh, okay.
original arrangement of it.
Right.
It's a Chris Stapleton song.
Oh, what was it? What's the name of it?
It's called "Starting Over."
Oh, did I put that on? I wonder if I put that on when I was, I don't know. Sounds familiar, but I like Chris
It's a good song,
Stapleton.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's got really nice melody and really beautiful lyrics. But when I was interpreting it, I slowed the song down a little bit.
Ah,
Yeah, and it came out on, and I had it come out on my birthday this year, which was just a couple weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
on the
All right.
22nd.
Happy birthday. Sorry I missed it. I
Thank
thought
you. No
I,
worries.
I
There's so
sometimes,
many of us; it's
yeah,
hard to keep track.
there's a few thousand. I've actively between the two sites. I have about 4,000 people now. So
It's a
yeah,
lot.
and I try to stay in contact with these people at least birthdays and all the rest, but I miss a few. Hi Joanna, I get Joanna's up on making comments. She said one of my faves. I don't know if she means you, Joshua, or that song.
For the song,
Do you know
probably the song.
Joanna? Do you know Joanna
Oh,
Myers? She's a
maybe.
drummer.
Oh,
She's
okay.
more on the south side. I think are you more the north side of
I mean,
town?
I'm in Everett,
Yeah. Okay. So I
but
think
I go everywhere.
yeah. Not
Well, you know,
not everybody up here knows the southern people as well. And she says, "No, we don't know each other." Well, now's a good time. You got your
nice to
opportunity.
meet you, Joanna.
So I would like you to read. I know I've had you on before. I think it was what about a year or two ago?
hmm
Uh,
No, I think it was last fall.
last fall. Okay.
Yeah.
And I always tell my guests if you want to get on the show again because you have something new coming out or whatever, do contact me and I'll put you back on again. So obviously that happened in your case, Joshua. And
Yeah.
Joshua's going to play some music for us later, but I want him to give us a short recap of his experience in his music journey. For those of you who haven't been on before when he was my guest. So go ahead, Joshua.
Let's see. Well, we were talking last year. I think actually it might have been summertime. And I was still working as a coffee cafe supervisor
Ah,
for
okay.
Compass Group, and they do food contracting, catering, cafes, coffee shops for all over. They do hospital coffee stands, or they do like
Yeah.
retirement homes. They do the food, the kitchen, all the kitchen work for that, or they have contracts with Boeing, Facebook,
Wow.
Microsoft, Amazon. So I was running a coffee shop at one of the Amazon buildings in Seattle, and I was gigging about 3 days a week, sometimes four. And I started to turn down gigs because I had this day job,
Mhm.
because I was getting work through a company called Gigs for You, and they they hire us out at like corporate events, or a lot of our gigs are at SeaTac Airport.
Yeah.
So 7 days a week at each SeaTac. There's, I believe, 4 shifts. So they have music going from like 9 a.m. of 7 days a week till about 2 in the afternoon.
Is Toby Brady still in
Toby,
charge of
yeah,
that? Yeah.
Toby Brady,
A
and
musician unto his own, too.
yeah, he's really talented. I don't know how he does what he does, honestly. I can tap
know.
sometimes I tap my foot when I'm
Yeah,
playing, but I'm
exactly.
never like, I don't think I ever do it consistently through a whole song. So like, remember when the Mumford and Sons came out and that guy was playing the stomp the entire song,
Yes,
every song, and playing and
yes,
singing.
that's
Toby,
Toby.
Toby has two pedals. Anyways, he's very talented. Yeah, so I started turning down gigs, and I think that was kind of like, it was scary, but it was like I was being given an option. You know, I'm very spiritual, so it was like God or the universe, whatever you want to call
Right,
it,
right.
was
Exactly.
saying, "Hey, you can stay the way things are, or you can start trying to take more gigs doing music, and you can work
Right.
less doing this coffee job." So I
Mhm.
took the plunge, and yeah, so I gave my boss my notice, and now I just work 3 days a
Oh, for
week.
you. Were you working there when we interviewed or
Yeah, I was
oh
actually, I
wow.
did the interview while I was at work in my little office.
Yes, that's right. I remember now. Oh, for
Yeah,
heaven's sakes.
yeah. So
Well, I'm glad you took the plunge. How's that working as far as being able to
going
support yourself?
it's
Yeah,
going great. It's going
good,
great. Yeah,
good.
it's very exciting. I don't think sometimes because we're in the midst of the day to day, that you get caught up in everything. But sometimes if I take a step back, it's like, man, do you know, I'm so lucky
Yeah,
and blessed that I get to, for my main job, people pay me to sing and play my guitar.
yeah. Isn't
That's
that
pretty
amazing?
awesome. And I've always dreamed of that. And now I'm doing it. So now it's like, well, what's the next part of the dream, I guess, is to like continue to grow as a
Right.
musician. But yeah, so that's what I started doing that last summer in August. I started doing full-time gigs and part-time coffee.
And you're also a singer-songwriter too, so you do write your own stuff, correct?
Yeah. I've got about 13 originals. Well, one is a remix. So there's 12 original songs out on streaming places and on my website you can listen to.
Do you have a channel on YouTube?
I do. I don't put enough work into it, but yeah, there's some videos there. There's some live performance videos. It's everything's a work in progress, right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's great. I'm good news. You have about as many as I have out there, but I've been a little slower in putting them out. I think about them for a long time. I get an idea, and sometimes in 20 minutes it's down the end. Sometimes it's a year or two before I get it all worked through and what I want to
yeah.
say and how I want to say it. So you just recently, as we were talking earlier, put a song out there, a cover song by Chris Stapleton,
Hmm.
and I can't remember the name of it.
Starting
I'm
over.
starting over.
Starting over.
And you wrote the music to that. Now there's my biggest fallback.
Well, I just arranged the music. I didn't write. I can't take any
You
of this
wrote it to
the
your
writing credit, but the arrangement is mine.
arrangement. Okay. And yeah, it's often difficult for me to do that. That's what takes me the longest is the music. But again, sometimes it comes right away, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I would be very anxious to hear that song. I don't know if I put it out there. Joanna's probably still listening. If she is, if has she seen that song? I was wondering if she, when I put the advertisements out for you coming on the show, if she saw this song out there that I advertised. Is that one of them I put out there? Is a question to you, Joanna, if you're still listening. In the meantime, I want to tell Joshua, and I forgot to tell you before we got started, I still have a deadly cough, and I've been going on for like 5 weeks with this. So if I start coughing, I'm going to blink out of the screen. I am not
Okay.
gone. Whatever I ask you,
Okay.
just keep going. Just
Okay.
carry on. I'll be back.
No problem.
Okay. So with that being said, how did you get into? Let's just recap a little bit of how you got into music and how that was all about. I see we have a couple more guests. Starting over, love to see Joshua play it. Can you please tell me who you are? We can't see your name unless you do that in the beginning. And a lot of people miss, Casey Freedom.
Casey, hey, that's my buddy.
Yeah, hi, Casey. You got stuff out there of your own. That's pretty stellar.
Casey's got a great cover out that he released. Actually, I was asking Casey for advice on how to release a cover song. We never finished that conversation, but yeah, he's got a great cover of a Jason Isbell song he put out
I
called.
get a question about that because I want to put out a cover. I like a song, and I'd like to put it out there, but I know that there's copyright laws out there, and I don't know how to get around that or how to.
There's a lot of companies now that take care of it for you.
Ah,
The actual way to have the total rights to put out the cover is to get permission from the artist. I don't know exactly how you would do that. I think maybe if I contacted BMI, who I work with,
okay.
maybe they could have reached out to Chris Staples people and asked for the permissions. There's other ways too. There's a website called Easy Song, and that's a licensing site. But I just went through my song distributor that I was using, DistroKid, and there's plenty of other ones that do distributing. So you can, any artist now with recorded music can use a distribution site.
I
And
might ask you again after we're no longer televising for my own purposes because I need to look that up. Sorry to.
yeah, but what did you release? You released a song last year, right?
Yeah, the first song that I released by another artist was Jessica Lynn Whitty. She's a local artist. And of course, she knew that I was going to do it. I mean, I told her we were going to write.
I mean the one that you released, wasn't it by you though? Original song?
Which one?
Lavender or something. I don't know.
Lavender Fields. Yeah, that was mine.
Okay, so did you put that out? Did that go out on like Spotify and stuff like that?
Yeah, all over. It was December 7th of last year.
Okay, so you use a distributor then to just
12th
to distribute that, right?
Yeah, I use CD Baby.
CD Baby. Okay, so CD Baby actually. My friend, I was recently talking about this because we're talking about releasing covers. Said CD Baby didn't actually. I don't think they had all the right licensings, but like DistroKid, for example, they have all the licensing stuff. They do it all for you. You just have to like fill out a whole form saying, yes, this is a cover song. No, I don't have the right.
Somebody else used that. Called DistroKid, right?
Yeah, DistroKid's it's a pretty popular distribution site, but they took care of all that. Now, however, it doesn't cover all the bases of all the licensing copyrights, so it doesn't end up on every single streaming site. However, they approved it really quickly, and it was up on like all the major ones like Spotify and Apple and Amazon and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you just even like that song, another kind of like, it's not a trick really, but it's just, it can help boost you a little bit, or at least some of your people viewing you, it's choosing a popular song like this one and covering it. And if you do a good job, maybe you get some more traction that way. I didn't intentionally do that. I just love doing the song. It has a lot of meaning to me. But yeah, anyways, I can be a little long-winded once I get going. So.
No, that's all right. That's why you're here.
Feel free to stop me.
No problem. Yeah, I like Tornado. It's a little big town, and it's a song called Tornado, and it's fairly recent. It was in the 2000s somewhere, I think. Maybe.
Who's it by?
Called Tornado.
By who?
A little big town.
Little Big Town. I'm not familiar with a lot of their music. I've heard of them though.
I think it is anyway, but it's a great song. I come from the land where there is a lot of tornadoes. I've been in a few in my life, and that one just it's about a guy who cheats on a woman, and she's telling him, and she's going to get him. Like a tornado, but it's a little big town. That's who it is. Yeah, and that's the one I'd like to put out there. But we'll see.
Yeah, do it.
So anyway, we were going on about. I had to stop there because a lot of people wonder about that and how to get something out there. We have some more comments here. I think they're still from, I think that's still Casey Freedom. He said, I used early Easy Song and
Easy song.
DistroKid for digital.
Yeah.
And Rose, my friend Rosie Smith is here. So hi, Rosie. I'm glad you're here.
So another extra side note on that is,
Okay.
like, I want to make a video for the song, but that's tricky too. You can't just post a video on YouTube, like you'll get flagged for copyright.
Yeah.
Even for that own, I get flagged for my own songs if I don't go through it properly.
Oh.
So sometimes you have to go into, like, say TikTok and like just put up a video that has no sound or whatever, or you just have to mute the sound on that video, and then you have to select the music you want, and you select your own song that's on TikTok available to put on Reels. But they have a similar thing. So if I want to make a music video or just like a whatever kind of music video for this song, I can make it, but then I have to go through DistroKid and upload the video there, and then they'll get all the approval for it, for that song to go on YouTube. Yeah, so then I could share that song on my channel and not get flagged for copyright.
Right. So far, I haven't had any problems because it's all been original music, but except for the one song, Honky Tonk Happy Hour, and that I had all the privileges from the artist. We worked together on it, so she did some of the backup singing. So we did, and her husband did the keyboard on it, so we never had a problem, thank God.
That sounds like a fun song.
Oh, it was. It's on my channel.
I gotta write that down because that just sounds fun.
Yeah, Honky Tonk Happy Hour is called.
Honky Tonk Happy Hour. I mean, I don't really enjoy happy hour anymore these days, but
yeah, I can't drink anymore, but
a honky tonk is always a good time.
Yeah. So she had this program for an hour every Thursday from 5 to 6 o'clock approximately. And she had a little bar set up, and she would bring in guests, and she would talk about where she was going, her songs, whatever. And she wrote this song for that group. And I said, well, and then she invited us to record it. So I did. And that's how that got started. That's her song, I singing. And both her and her husband are backup vocals on it and keyboard. I think he used piano on it.
Nice.
Okay, thank you. So I was trying to get back to how you got into music and approximately when. Just a brief update on your background, musical.
I started singing. Yeah, I started singing when I was really young, and I was in like the church choir or stuff like that. And choir in middle school, and in high school I joined like the first band I was in and sang for that band. Like we did like rock songs and cover songs and stuff. And then my band in high school broke up right after high school is when I started playing guitar. And I always wanted to play guitar, but that's when I really started writing songs, because it was always difficult for me to write to somebody else's music.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I always was, and I still, like, hats off to people that write these incredible songs and they didn't write any of the music. I know that doesn't happen all the time, but it's a lot of times I think it does. If like the singer writes, they hear the band's like, here's the song, and then the singer writes these melodies or whatever. Anyways, I never thought I wrote very good stuff like that. Occasionally, maybe a gem would come out, but it wasn't until I started playing my own music and writing my own music that I think I started blossoming. Anyways, that was like 20 years ago when I started playing guitar.
So and how do you come up with these? Just got to put a pin in that for a minute. Mm-hmm. How do you come up with your ideas on writing a song? I mean, what goes on that brings you out to writing something down and recording it?
Most of my stuff was usually about women or love,
Yeah.
Typical, So yeah, a lot of stuff comes from the heart, and most of my music's very personal. It's all usually about something I went through or something I was feeling, or it's something I was thinking. So there, I do have somewhere, even when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, when I was like writing something very mindful, like a song that's on one of my EPs called New Day's Dawning, where I was like, but my time goes by and I see another sky, new days dawn all the time, stuff like that. So I have some songs like that. I have one called We Are All Human that I really like playing nowadays because, man, things are crazy. Well, they've always been crazy, really, if you just pay attention.
Not that crazy. At least not in our day and age. I mean,
I don't know. I'm thinking about a lot of the different things throughout history, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
yeah,
we were.
things are crazy now, but they were crazy in the Vietnam era. They were
Oh
crazy
yeah,
in the Gulf War. They
I
were crazy
remember
in the
that.
Great Depression or World War II. So
I
humans apparently are just love patterns. They,
right. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. All right. Got it.
yeah, most of the songs just come from the heart. The music sometimes comes before the lyrics. A lot of times the lyrics comes first, and then if I write a piece of music, then I grab some lyrics, and sometimes they just, like you
Yeah.
said, it just works or it doesn't. They come or they don't.
They're fun.
I'm not an intentional writer really. I don't like sit down like I got to write today, you know?
I don't either. So moving on from that, and picking up the thread that we're talking about music, um, at what point did you start doing this for money? I mean, not money, doing it for money. I mean, what point did you start making money for doing something that you love?
Um,
Did that come earlier or later, or I've
I
forgotten?
think it came with time, like, and maturity as well.
Yeah.
Because in my like 20s and even into my 30s, I got a little more serious in my 30s, but I don't think I was that serious. I really loved performing. I loved getting paid for it. So
That
I was
they,
getting paid. I was getting paid back then to play like coffee shops and whatever bars and stuff,
I don't know, lucky.
and sometimes with a band. So you wouldn't really necessarily make a lot of money because they pay you like $200, but you split it between like 4 or 5 people.
Right.
Um, and plus, and then back then we were drinking and partying too. Sometimes the bar would give you a bar tab, but we would drink well past the bar tab, and then we'd be at the end of the night like, half drunk, like, all right, we got to pay $80. Okay, we made 200. Okay, we made 20. It's like, anyways. Um, well, I went through. I don't know if I talked about it in the last interview when I went through like a real big life changing event, which was a driving drunk, getting a DUI, like
Ah,
5.5 years
you
ago.
did touch on that, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
That's what got me really serious. I was already trying to be serious before that, but I was still just my priorities were all askew, and
Yeah.
but
It's
yeah, I
called
started getting
youth.
paid.
It's
I
called
started
youth.
getting I was getting paid to perform back in like 2017, 2018.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it hasn't been that long ago.
No, that's like when I kind of started doing it on my own more without a band.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I don't know if I'll ever accomplish. I just don't like it.
No,
I play rhythm. I don't lead, and
I
I
didn't
know
either.
a lot more than I can do.
I
So,
started as a rhythm though.
oh, did you really?
Yeah, and
And then you just pick the other stuff up.
I just had the hunger. Like I got to learn how to do that
Yeah.
because I see what my guitarist can do, and I'm like, I want to.
Yeah.
And even if you could just develop your own, which I've kind of learned is not to. It's okay to compare a little, but not when it's
Yeah.
unhealthy. But
Right.
to a level where it's like, wow, that inspires me. I love going and watching live music when I can. I don't get
Yeah.
to go
Right.
very
Yeah. I
often.
know.
I don't get to go very often because I'm usually
I get that.
performing, but I get really inspired by watching other people play who are
Very good.
more skilled than I am at
Yes.
or like at the guitar or especially the piano because I'm not very good at the piano. I'm good enough to like play chords, but that's
All
about
right.
it.
Right.
That's good. It inspires me to take lessons. So I always kind of had that hunger to do solos, and I had a really great friend who sadly passed away some years ago, but he was an incredible guitarist from a very young age. Like when we were in middle school, like 12 years old, he was playing like Metallica riffs like perfectly, very intricate stuff. So that was always inspiring too.
Yeah.
But so I started as rhythm, and then eventually now I can do both.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest lead guitarist, but I have a good
Yeah.
base of music theory enough to know that like this is a relative minor and this is
Right.
a relative major, and so now I know when I'm soloing in A, I can do I can go here and here, and I can feel safe too.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not there yet.
I don't like searching for notes. I don't like playing with people who search for notes. I like people. It's fine if you play by ear, but you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
In practice, that's one thing, but I had some people that would play live and like play wrong notes, and it would just echo out, and my ear was like, oh God, that sounded so bad.
Yeah. In the country there, I know.
But
I know exactly what, and
I don't know.
a lot of the guys that that are up and coming and so forth, they don't realize what level they're at. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And
Mm,
if they play at a jam where I go, um, if they're in that process of learning and they're not up to a certain level, it can get kind of ugly. But
yeah, that's how we learn, though, right?
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, hopefully they learn from those moments.
Yeah, well, one of them, I know one in particular just hasn't, but you
Uh,
have to have a country vibe. I do country, and if you don't have the country vibe, you're not going to make it.
yeah.
And now with Beyonce doing this
Well,
country, holy cow.
that's the interesting you said too, because I've encountered some people who've approached me because I'm always posting that I'm playing all these gigs. And they're
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm really interested in doing what you're doing, and how can I get in there? I was like, well, this is what I started doing, which was finding places that do music, or even if they don't do music, or if they don't know if they do music, you know, email them anyway. And so I just started sending emails,
Wow. That's good
and I
to
would
know.
just, or you could just go on Google and go live music Woodinville, and there's going to be tons of places that have little wine bars that do live music. So you just start emailing people, you know. That's where I started. And then you go out and you perform, and hopefully you do well, and they like you,
Yeah.
and they bring you back,
Right.
or they tell their friend, you know. And
Right.
um, but I have been approached by people who were like, "Well, how much do you charge?" And I was like, "Well, this is what I charge, but I don't know if you are at that level or not. I don't really know you, you know, like."
Yeah.
Or I met one guy, and I kind of I'd already played with him once, so I knew where his kind of I had a vibe of where his level was at, and he was asking about it, and I was like, I think he was asking about a company I work for, but they vet their musicians. They don't just hire anybody, right? They want to hear your music. They want to hear you playing live. They want to see your website. They want to see everything. They do a phone interview. They do a Skype interview.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know if he got the job or not, but that's where I was like, well, go to you got to push him in that direction. And
Right.
we all just sink or swim in this industry.
Yeah, I guess I'm
We
thinking.
do. It's not like another normal job where you get to keep your job whether you're performing at this level or not. Like a lot of
Right.
I work a day job, and there's people on the crew who don't pull their weight, but they still have their job.
Right. Right. But
You
not
know,
so in music today. I mean, things have
not so
changed
much.
radically.
Well, imagine if they do. Well, they do take a chance on somebody. They give them
Yeah.
a gig,
Yeah.
and then they got customers going, I don't like this guy.
Yeah. That
That
happens.
guy won't be coming back. You know.
Right.
You also have to know a little bit. You got to know your audience. So when I go to like Sultan, I play a lot of country music when I'm out there.
Oh, really? I didn't
That's
know you
what
played country.
that's what people want to hear out there. They want to hear Willie Nelson and Chris Stapleton, and they're
Oh,
fine. They're fine with rock music too. But I was out there one night where we'd been double booked, and
oh, yeah.
the other guy got there before me and was already set up. So I was really tired. I'd been
Yeah.
playing a lot of gigs, so I was like, no, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just buy me dinner, give me gas. I'll go home. It's cool. But the guy was playing like David Bowie, but it wasn't like mainstream David Bowie songs you would recognize. It was like, what is this?
Oh,
And even the bartenders were like, dude, this is terrible. People are pissed. People are pissed. Look at this. And I was
mhm.
like, yeah, well, the guy clearly didn't understand where he was, and song selection can be important.
That's right.
It
I hear
can.
you. Yep. I absolutely agree. So we're getting to the point here. Now I want to get into your things that you want to promote after, but I do want people to hear you play. So have you got a couple of songs that you'd like to share with us?
Sure.
Okay. So while you're setting up, I'm going to get out of the picture as well.
Okay.
Um, and I won't be here, but I can hear and see you. You just can't see me.
Okay.
All right. It's all yours. I'm out of here.
Mhm. Okay, this is the cover of Chris Stapleton that I just released. And it's called Starting Over. Well, the road sound like a welcome mat to a better place than the one we're at. I ain't got no kind of plans at all in this town that I can stand. I got friends out on the coast. We can jump in the water and see what flows. We've been saving for a rainy day. Let's beat the storm and be on our way. It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I wanna be. Honey, for once in our life, let's take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover, starting over. This might not be an easy time. There's rivers to cross and hills to climb. Some days we might fall apart. Some nights might be cold and dark. Nobody wins afraid of losing. And the hard roads are the ones we're choosing. Someday we'll look back and smile. Realize it's worth every mile. It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I wanna be. Honey, for once in our life, let's take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover, starting over, starting over. It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I wanna be. Honey, for once in our life, let's take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover, starting over, starting over.
Bravo, I liked it, but I've got a little problem with the sound. I could not
Uh-oh,
hear the guitar, and then
can
your
you hear the
voice.
guitar?
No, and then your voice started going away at the end. So I don't
Can you hear
know.
that?
Are you plugged in?
No.
Okay. For some reason, your mic just isn't picking up that guitar. Just a heads up on that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. I
I
said,
mean, I have an amp I can plug into it, but it'll
yeah,
take a minute.
yeah, okay. Um, we have a question here. Patrick O'Donnell from Dublin Abbey. He's a regular here, and I have the great band going on. He's asked a question. He says, "Do you have a favorite go-to guitar, acoustic or electric, that you generally prefer?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, electric. I haven't played electric in a long time. I still play it from
Yeah.
time to time for fun when I play, like when I'm rehearsing or taking lessons or trying to learn like a hard rock song I like or something. Usually, I just play acoustic, and I'm a Martin guy. I like Martin guitars. Those are my favorite, and I have a Martin. It's the X series, so it's a hard top with a high pressure laminate back and sides. But they're really good once they age. So the one I have is 14 years old, and it's been worn. I had to glue a couple pieces actually recently because the body was coming loose from the
Huh,
laminate from
no.
some damage. Cool little story though. This guitar was given to me by a friend, and I just had to sand it down because it got broken right here. You can see where I glued it, but I just glued it, and it's playing again. I kept it tuned down to D standard, but just so I'm not fully trusting if I tune it all the way to 440 hertz at standard, it'll hold the tension.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it will because it's holding up now. And I just capoed it to E flat standard, so it was fine. But pretty cool
yeah,
to revive guitars back to life. Get some Gorilla wood glue,
yeah.
and you can fix them right up.
I take mine to other people.
I want to, but that's expensive. So if
Oh,
I
I
can,
said
and
that.
I used to work on. I was a carpenter for years. I know how to work on wood. And
Yeah,
glue. I know how to glue joints and stuff. So if you have a basic knowledge of that, you can do some work on your guitar yourself, but don't damage your guitar.
right.
If you don't know what you're doing, take it to somebody.
Yeah, I take mine to Mike Lull. His company's been around a long time. He's now dead. He lives in Bellevue. He's passed, and his
Mm,
two sons are doing it. And they
that's
have
cool.
a guy that's been with his father for years. And oh man, I brought a guitar that had a nick in it, and about the size of my little finger, tip of my little finger. Came to me new, and they wouldn't make good on it. And so I took it there to get it repaired, and you can't see. I mean, there is no way you can tell that guitar is damaged there. It was that good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
pretty
afraid
cool.
to even try because I didn't want to do anything to mess the guitar up.
Yeah. When I first got my first guitar 25 years ago, um, I didn't even want to string it. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
I
exactly. I
bought new
still
strings.
don't.
I knew I needed new strings, so I bought new strings, but I was like, oh. And I
Ex-
didn't really have the internet back then, believe it or not, kids. This is like 2000,
Yeah,
whatever. Anyways, and so I took it to a shop and was like, "Can you restring this for me?" And the guy was like, "Sure, $20, whatever."
yeah,
So he strung it for me. Then he kind of showed me, so I did the next time myself, and I kind of learned
yeah,
myself. But then I had a guitar that got broken, much
yeah,
like this one.
yeah.
Yeah, the neck basically went like that,
Yikes.
and it was my first guitar I ever bought, and it's right here. And you can see there where it got cracked. Bad. It was pretty bad. I was heartbroken too. But when it broke along the neck here line, it was pretty clean. It wasn't ragged. And although that Gorilla wood glue is like magic. A friend had posted that he had glued one of his guitars and it fixed it. And so, yeah, this break was much worse than this other one I just fixed. In fact, when you look at the front of the headstock, I mean, you can see how bad it was. And then this side, clean down. You can see that line, clean down it there. And this was my very first guitar I ever bought, so it was like kind of important to me, you know.
Yeah.
but I fixed it.
Wow.
And I think it's a
You
very
did a good
cheap.
job too, from the looks of it.
It's old. This thing is as old as I am. Okay, I didn't mean that. I'm not old. But this thing is 45 years.
Wow.
Just like me. Nice and aged like a fine wine.
Yeah.
But it's still holding up great. I mean, I had to wood glue it and it held, and now I can play it again. It's not like a performance guitar. You can just tell kind of by the tones. It's not really well built guitar, but it definitely sounds better than it did when I used to play it
Was that
years
a
ago.
Martin? You said a Martin?
No, that's a Mateo. It was like Korean models. They were like, this is a Honer, which some Honers are. I think they're not. I don't know if they're knockoffs. I can't going backwards camera. It's made in China. I looked it up. It's about brand new. You could probably get one for $200 or something like that. Maybe I saw some used ones for 100, 150. But I don't know how old it is, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, I might just give it back to my friend. I don't know if they'll ever play it. They weren't really playing it when it got knocked over at their house and got broken, so they gave it to me. But I fixed it now. I was thinking of playing not a joke or a trick really, but just have it in my car, and then I'll just be like, "Hey, do you ever want to play guitar again? If you ever had one, like you broke one." And if he was like, "Yeah," then I'd be like, "Okay, I fixed your guitar."
Sorry, I had to take a break there for a sec.
No, you're good.
So, how do we find you? What are your songs coming out? We heard the song. Unfortunately, it didn't play well. So, down the road, we'll get you back here again if I'm still doing this, and we'll try to get that set up before we do it, so you sound better. Because all we could hear is your voice, and I at least not me.
Well, as long as my voice sounded okay, that's good.
Yeah. And the guitar, you just couldn't, it didn't pick it up. I don't know why. Maybe because it was picking up your voice, which is closer.
It could be. You never know with these kind of programs how the microphones work.
Right.
I noticed it even on my little amp that I use that takes a vocal and the guitar.
Yep.
It's when one's playing on its own.
Yep.
It has a bigger little sound. As soon as the vocal comes in, you can
it cuts it. Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It's very subtle. You don't really notice it if you don't have like a tuned ear, but it's interesting. So yeah, I'm sorry about that, people, but it's all good. Go listen to the song.
Go listen to it.
You can stream that song.
How do they find it? YouTube?
Starting over and put Joshua Red.
And YouTube, right?
I believe it's on YouTube. It should be. DistroKid puts it out there. The one that's on YouTube isn't going to be on my channel, though.
Okay.
It's going to be on some other. It's something that DistroKid does. If you guys are out there trying to release music, be aware of this. And you have a YouTube channel, an entirely other channel will be set up that you're not even running. That has your songs on it. And there's the only way to get it to not do that is there was an option on DistroKid that you could select not having your stuff posted to YouTube, but it's a pretty big platform to not have your stuff on. So the only other way then is that you have to post it yourself to your own channel.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm assuming it should be on there. It's going to be on Spotify and iTunes, and I had a list of everything it was on. It's on a lot of streaming services. You can find it.
All right. So what about do you have a do you have a website or how do you get your gigs and all the information that we need about you?
Uttechmusic.com. So that's just my last name. My last name music.com. And that has a calendar that has all my gigs. Also, if you find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ just my artist name, Joshua Red Uttech, all one word, whatever. And then also on Instagram, it's the same, Joshua Red Uttech Music, but there's underscore in between every word. So it's Joshua _Red _ and I don't know why Instagram doesn't have this feature, but like an event page calendar. Right. Yeah. I don't know why they don't have that, but so I post events on Facebook as well. And I'm trying to stay up to date on at least a month ahead on my calendar on my website. Yeah. Let's see how far ahead I've posted.
And how do you get to that? Just www. I don't know. Facebook is
Yeah,
Facebook. It
it's
just
www or https, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I have gigs posted through the next couple weeks, but I need to continue to post. So this next week, I'm going to be at SeaTac Airport on Wednesday morning, and then I'll be Thursday at Farm Strong Brewing in Mount Vernon, and then from 6 to 8, and then on this is a Rustic Cork weekend. So Rustic Cork is a wine bar that they have 2 locations, one in Mill Creek and one in Lake Stevens. And so they have you play Friday night in Mill Creek and then Saturday night at their Lake Stevens location. So that's kind of cool.
How long do you play at these places? 4
2
hours or
hours
2?
usually. Most places about 2 hours. Some are 3.
Yeah.
I just got reached out to by somebody about playing at a place in Snohomish that I've been wanting to play for a while. So I'm excited about that.
Great.
Called The Rep.
Yeah.
And
You think that's the one where you got to go up these high stairs?
yeah, you got to play up in the loft.
Yeah.
Those are always kind of fun. I got to play one of those before down in Puyallup, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah. And you're afraid of falling off?
No, you're all gated in up there. But I think though that's not always as beneficial for you because you're so more removed from the patrons.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, where do I put my tip jar? So I have my tip jar at the bottom of the stairs. Like I'm not even down there. Like,
yeah, I get it.
you know, I do feel like this happens a lot. Like, and I kind of do this when I want to tip people too. I want them to know, like, hey, I'm sent, and it's not that I'm like, it's not about how much money you're dropping. You're letting them know, like, hey, I appreciate you, acknowledging you.
Right.
And people do it when they come.
What does the sound do? How do you get the sound down where they're at?
Huh?
How do you get your sound when you're at the rep? How do you get the sound down where the people are sitting?
I probably won't. I'll probably just have the amp up in the loft, and the sound will just go across and into the place.
Huh.
That's what I did at the place I was in Puyallup. I didn't have my sound down below. I had it up, which is fine. It's the same as having when you've been in a place and the speakers are up high in the corner.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Huh. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
So do you play with a monitor or no?
No, I don't really need to.
Okay.
I'm usually close enough to the amp I can hear it. Even loud, if the bar gets loud, I just turn it up. Which you kind of have to do. The other night at this place that usually I don't have to turn it up very loud, but it was a rare night where they got completely full and it was loud and I had to turn it up quite a bit. And I don't even know if the people in the back could even hear it that well. I'm sure they could hear that there was music, but how well they could hear it,
Well, that could be a good thing because those people think it's too loud and they're trying to talk and go in the back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's always that one person that says, "Oh, it's too loud." Just like, good God, I can't even hear it.
I always feel bad for them if they're sitting at the table that's the closest to the amp. But then again, I'm not playing really hard, aggressive music like that. Sometimes depending on the venue, I might play some Alice in Chains or something like that. But it's all on acoustic guitar, this nice soft sounding amp. So it's not like a hard rock band with a drum set or anything like that.
Yeah. So do you, I don't think I've ever had a chance. Do you go out to the Oxford at all on Tuesday nights?
No, but I've been wanting to. Is that when they have to do the jam night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to. It's tough on weekday nights are tough though, because I work at, I have to get up at like 4:45 in the morning on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
You still work?
I still have a part-time job Monday through Wednesday, making coffee as a barista. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well. Maybe
helps pay the bills.
Yeah. So where was I? Oh, jam. Yeah, I'd love to see you out there, but you got to come early. That place fills up real fast on the list. I think you only can take like 8 people or something.
Is it an open mic or is it a?
Either. Depends upon whether you want to do it open mic, or whether you want to do it with Jerry or whoever else is there. Or you want to bring a band, you can do that too. But either way, you only have 15 minutes, so yeah, you just get up there and you have to play. But it's a fun place, and of course, it's all mostly musicians or fans of musicians. So it's people are well received. It's a good place to go. I like it.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a gig there for a while, but it's hard to get in there.
Yeah, well, he's busy and he books these gigs. He books people out, but if you want to go in there, you have to play for him. Usually, going to that jam decides that. I mean, if he hears you, how you're playing, and you have an act, like for instance, you've got more than just you for a Friday or Saturday night, he'll hire if he likes what you're doing and the people that
Mhm.
you're doing it with. If it's just you, he sometimes does gigs for 3 hours on like, oh, geez, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 3 hour gig, 6 to 9. So that's
Yeah, I find that interesting. I understand it's different for every place and every
it
person that
is.
books is
Yep,
different. But
right.
they have a booking form on their website,
Oh, who
and I
does?
filled it out. Does Oxford?
Oxford, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
filled it out probably 4 different times.
and you
Because
never,
you have to go in and play for them to get hired at a spot. They should advertise that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
not everybody has the time
yeah,
to go places to, like,
right,
I don't have, I mean, I could probably try to start squeezing into my schedule, but
right,
it's like, I live alone. I gotta take care of my house. I got,
yeah,
life,
right,
everybody's got a life, right? They gotta
right,
do. And so it's hard for me sometimes. They're like, oh, you
yeah,
should go to the open mic. I was like, dude, I don't have time to go open mics. I've
right,
got a part-time day job. I got a full-time gigging job, and then
right,
I have my day-to-day life. So
right.
for me to come out on Sunday night and stay till 10 p.m. is like, yo, my bedtime's 9, bro.
Yeah,
But it's just,
9 p.m.
it
He
makes it
adds
tricky.
up.
It's a tricky industry.
Yeah,
Some places I know I'm very well talented to be playing at, and they just either I'm not their flavor or they are just not high. I've even had one tell me outright they were very nice. I appreciate the response more than just the like
right,
no response. And they're like, hey, we like you, but we're not really hiring more musicians right now. We have a group that we work with.
right.
And I was like, okay, that's understandable. That's fine,
Yeah, I
rather
think
than just like silence is, I mean, I don't know. But,
I think
I guess that's just sometimes you just have to take what you get. And like, I wanted to play at the Rep for like over 2 years now. And
how'd
I've
you how'd
finally
you
just
do?
now, someone reached out to me
Ah,
from the Rep. So
they probably heard you somewhere else.
maybe, I don't know. I work with the city of Snohomish. So,
Oh,
and I do
well,
like the
yeah,
farm, I do the farmers market, and I've done
oh
like
yeah.
private events with them and stuff like that.
Oh,
So yeah,
well, hopefully sometime you'll get your chance at the Oxford.
I think I will.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of time.
I had my chance and blew it. I had two people come up play with me that had been in my band before, and uh, they just didn't make the cut. So,
Oh no.
and one of them had the audacity to say something that irritated the man who hired him, which was not a good idea.
Well, that's probably why. That's probably why.
Then he understood. I mean, he knew that wasn't me, but and I didn't even know that had been going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
That
no, I'm gonna check people better than that next time. I mean,
yeah, well,
they're
you
not
just never know, it's hard. And you never know too who's done what in the past and who's holding grudges in the past because people
yeah,
change.
yeah,
People should be given the
right.
opportunity to be forgiven and change, but not
Well,
everybody
he
gives those
won't go
chances.
back. He won't. He thinks it's a terrible place, and he did not like it. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it
Some
is.
people do,
It is.
some people don't. It's just what it is.
Yeah. I had a gig once with my band, the band I was in at the time. It was my band and this other band, my drummer's friend's band. And we were supposed to play this. We were really excited because there's like 10 of us between the two bands and going to bring all these friends. So we're just going to be a
Right.
great night. And the guy had been accused, one of the guys in the other band had been accused of like assaulting some woman.
Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no.
And he, of course, was like, no, I never did, whatever. And so it was a he said, she said thing. But it
Right.
came down to the bar owner was like, that guy's not allowed in my bar.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I was like, well, we're still going to play the show. but your band can't play with us. So,
No.
and then the guy showed up the night of the show at the
Oh
bar,
no. Oh no.
knowing he wasn't supposed to be there. And he's just like, well, I just came anyway. And I was like, wow, all right. This is how you aren't going to keep working in this industry, man.
Yeah.
People are going to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Cutting your own throat.
I just think the relationships are our industry, right? If you don't have good relationships with everyone you work with, or you at least try to,
Right.
and then it can get you blacklisted from places. I don't know if I have any of those going on for me. I hope not. And if I do, I do. That's life, right?
Yeah.
You got to go,
I've never heard
go,
anything.
go where you're wanted, go where you're valued, and
Right.
keep being you. Try to be a true heart, be a good person, and just follow the path. Life is just life, man. Some of us get a long life, some of us don't. And I had friends start dying before I was 20. So,
Yeah.
like
You
I'm
don't have a niece called Jamie, do you?
no,
No. Wrong guy. There's two guys. Well, you're one of them that I always get confused who's who. And
yeah. Does he look like this? Is he bald and have?
kind of, I don't know. There's something about you two that remind me of each other, so I get you confused. I don't know why that happens, but I've done that more than once. I don't know. So, what is your? We kind of have covered this one about advice, but if I can recap what you were saying earlier, was for those people who are starting out, who want to play in breweries and I'm I'm assuming wineries, that there's different ways to approach that, and you've been doing it through email, looking up in the internet who does what, getting in contact with these people. Excuse me, sorry. And every one of these places are different. I mean, they have their own way. Some
Mhm.
look at your EPK, some want to see videos, some want to see live. Um, so am I telling it like it is, or did I leave something out?
No, that's about right. The other thing I've noticed too is well, it just seems now a lot more musicians are back working. So sometimes response time depends on the place you're emailing. Response time can be slow. I mean, I had one that it took them almost a year to get back to me.
Yeah.
Um, but now I work there about once, twice a month. So be
Wow.
patient, be
Yeah.
patient, be persistent. Look,
Patience, a good one.
look, try to look as professional as you can. So there's things I can do for myself to like I know in a couple of my videos, I think I sound great, but like the background doesn't look great. There's like a dartboard behind me, like I'm just wearing a black t-shirt and like blue jeans, which I don't mind. That's kind of what I wear anyways. But
Right.
some places they want you to like dress up.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might look at that and go, well, I don't like what he's wearing.
No.
Let's
Yeah.
not hire him. You have no idea. The other thing a friend of mine mentioned, this is more on the booking side of what's going on their end, is he said some of these people don't even really understand music like we do, or like a musician does, or even a music lover does. Like they're just put in charge of booking the musicians for that wine bar or that coffee bar or that brewery, whatever, So you just gotta like be patient with it. You gotta
Yeah.
trust
I
you're
get
gonna get the right gigs. But yeah, you should try to look as professional as you can. You should have you should have a website. There's really no excuse to not have a website nowadays. You can make free ones, and then it's only like I think mine initially only cost me like $8 a month when I got a website initially. Now it'll cost me a little more because I've upgraded it. But
you. Right.
so yeah, a website will look good. Get your own domain for your email. That looks great too. Because if your email is blank blank at Gmail, if you want to look more professional, just get that website. Pay for I think I pay $15 a year to have my own email.
Yeah.
And so it looks more professional. My email is red@utechmusic.com. And for me, I love it. Maybe when I got my own domain and I bought it and I own utechmusic.com, was like, that was like a huge day for me, like a
Where
bucket
do you
list.
buy it? How do you buy that? How do you buy your
Through
domain?
the website you're working with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Cool. Anyway, so yeah, that's a great thing. Have a website link. have a couple links to videos of you playing live so they can see performances. Have on your website. I use bandzoogle.com, specifically designed for musicians. Really easy to build your website. There's templates, everything. You just put in the words and put in the pictures, and it's done.
Yeah, I think I started with that, and I finally said no. I want to do something a little more professional. So I spent a few $1,000s getting it all set up.
Yeah, well, that's one way to go.
And if you don't have the money, I like your way better. I mean, the thing is,
Mine, I enjoyed it too. You know, I really do enjoy. I mean, I put it off a lot sometimes doing the like computer work.
yeah,
I enjoy the music and performing more
right,
of the job, but
right.
I do enjoy once I get into it, like, you know, building the website and sending the emails and booking the shows. And, you know, I get excited when I start booking shows, or when there can be a day where I'm just taking a day off and then somebody books a show with me or something, like emails me, hey, can you play June 10th? And I'm like, yeah, I can. Cool. And I'm just like, all right,
Yeah, exactly.
great day.
I like that. Well, it's 1 o'clock. Can you believe that?
Yeah,
I mean, we went through an hour's worth of music. I'm sorry we didn't get to your second song,
that's
but
okay. It wasn't playing anyway, so
yeah, I
that's all right.
apologize for that. Sometimes it's a lot better than that. People's their setup is more prone to issues, others aren't. So I never know, but I liked what I heard, and I know that I can find it and hear it the way it should be played.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look up Chris Stapleton starting over, you might find my version too.
All right.
But if
Yeah.
you look up
Yeah.
starting over Joshua Red, you'll
Yes.
definitely find it. It has the cover says the title and my name, and it's a picture of Lake Washington, and you can see Seattle in the background.
Okay.
And it's got a beautiful sunset.
Cool. So I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to get you back here, Josh
Me
and
too.
Joshua. And I do look forward to you to come back again. If you ever have any other needs and you want to get something
Yeah.
out there,
I got another song coming out,
all
and
right.
probably in the next 2 or 3 months, I'll have another one released.
All right. If you want to do something in the fall, just let me know when you're ready.
Sure. Sure.
All right. With that, I have to go. Thank you all
All
for
right.
tuning in and responding to our interview today. I do have another person coming up on the 8th. And by the way, April Fools. April Fool's Day today, and I never played an April Fool's joke. I guess playing that
Oh,
song was the April Fool's.
yeah, the mic not working. That was
Yeah,
our
here
April
we
Fool's
go.
joke.
So,
Well done.
all right, see you guys. See your I see you, Joshua, and hopefully I'll get
All right.
to the rep. When does that rep one take it? When does that one?
I haven't booked it yet. I gotta just email
Okay,
the guy
well, let
back.
me know.
I will.
All right. Bye
All right.
bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
That's it. And again, I have another interview coming up on Tuesday. Tax day, we will not be interviewing on tax day. I think it's going to be rather difficult to do your taxes, get them in, and worry about all of that, and then try to watch something like this. So the following week is not booked. So if anybody has something they want to put out there or want to be on the show, do let me know. That the date after tax date, I believe, is something like the 25th. I don't know. We can look it up later. But if you have that opening is so it's a third Monday in April. That's open. And then the following week, I will be interviewing a young lady called Joanna Ayers, who's a drummer. I've just interviewed her a while ago. Is going to be interviewing me. So until then, I hope you all had a happy Easter. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.